Communication starts with what we tell ourselves and what we feed our minds. So when it comes to pre-COVID leadership books, are we thinking retro or still relevant? Do you ever look at your bookshelf or flick through your Kindle and wonder, is any of this still relevant? Maybe I've got too much time on my hands, but I did exactly that this morning. Then later, scrolling through my updates, I smiled at a post from an old colleague sharing her, very interesting, thoughts on the limitations of AI in shaping human behaviour, simultaneously waiting for my PQ app to finish updating so I can learn a bit more about my own self-sabotage patterns. Welcome to the modern leadership paradox. We're living in a hyper-digital world, increasingly reliant on tools and tech to understand ourselves better, while quietly craving more human connection, emotional insight, and real conversations. It made me think some of the best leadership books I've ever read were written well before COVID, before Zoom fatigue, and before AI started narrating our self-improvement. Books like Hostage at the Table and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, they're not shiny, they don't promise overnight hacks, but they do speak to the human stuff, things like trust, character, conflict and connection, which, if you ask me, are more vital now than ever. So I pulled them off the shelf, gave them a flick through, and yep, still gold. Let's start with Hostage at the Table by George Colreaser. Now this one's is jaw-dropping. Think Hollywood crime drama, written by a hostage negotiator turned leadership expert. Yes, really. It's all about the psychology behind how we lead and how often we accidentally hold ourselves hostage in the process. Here's what still rings true for me. Face the tough stuff. We all have those unspoken things at work or in life. Colreaser talks about putting the fish on the table, and I must admit, you'll still hear me using this term, expecting everyone to know that I'm talking about naming the tension, dealing with it with pragmatism, clearing the air. In a world full of passive-aggressive emails and group chats, this skill is gold dust. Be a secure base. If you're a leader, officially or unofficially, people look to you for safety, clarity, steadiness. The book shows how to create psychological safety, not just so others feel safe, but so you can stop living in survival mode too. Stop playing hostage. Honestly, most of the stress I see in founders and leaders isn't coming from the outside. It's coming from the stories they're telling themselves. This idea of freeing yourself from mental handcuffs is something I now explore with almost every client. And then there's The 7 Habits by Stephen Covey. Yes, it's old school, but it's timeless for a reason. Covey doesn't give you a checklist, he gives you a compass. His work focuses on building character over personality, and that's the bit we forget when we're rushing to sound good, look confident, or just keep all the plates spinning. Some standout gems that still hold up. Be proactive, not in a hustle way, in a choose how you respond way. This is about getting out of reactivity and into ownership, even when the world feels bonkers. Begin with the end in mind. You know that moment where you realise you've been busy, but not on the stuff that actually matters to you. This one sorts that out. Put first things first. Boundaries. You don't have to be all things to all people. Seek first to understand. If leadership had one golden rule, this would be it. Empathy, listening, really hearing people. It's rare and it's powerful. The bit we don't talk about. Enough leadership can be lonely. I work with brilliant, capable people. Many of them are running their own businesses, leading teams, wearing a dozen hats and doing it all while feeling just a bit alone. Leadership loneliness isn't something we like to admit, but it's real. And it's one of the reasons why these old books still matter. Because they weren't about appearances, they were about connection, self-awareness, integrity, inner resilience, the stuff that actually helps when it's just you and your thoughts at 11 p.m. So is this stuff still relevant? More than ever. Yes, the landscape has changed. We've gone digital, hyper-adaptive, hybrid, always on, but we're still human. And leading humans, including yourself, will always come back to a few simple things. Tell the truth about what's going on. Listen more than you speak. Choose courage over comfort. Look after your own mind, not just your calendar. So no, I won't be popping these books in the charity shop anytime soon, Because when you strip away the jargon, the systems and the updates, leadership is still about people, and people don't go out of date.